Welcome to another episode of What Goes Where. In this episode we'll be covering the switch kit or the SW kit, which is the original form of installing systems in Australia. So let's begin at the inverter. On the outside of the inverter we have our shutdown procedure label. This needs to be placed on the inverter and near the equipment that needs to be operated, like your DC isolator, whether it be inbuilt or a separate one, and your AC isolator as well. Below this label we have the shutdown procedure warning. Now this is placed either below or above the shutdown procedure, and it's important that these are put together. Sometimes we see this label missed on an install, but it's important that this is part of the shutdown procedure. Also at the inverter, if we have multiple DC isolators, we have this multiple DC sources label, telling us that all isolators need to be operated to isolate the system. If we have isolators that aren't ganged, that kind of thing. We have our inverter AC isolator label, so this goes on the AC isolator beside the inverter if you have it there and not a breaker in the board. We also have our PV array DC isolator labels. So this needs to go on the load break switch at the inverter. And also if you have isolators on the roof, which you will in this case, then if the isolator is not pre-printed with PV array DC isolator, then this label will need to be placed there as well. Moving on to the switchboard. On the outside of the switchboard, we have our SW label, and we have in Victoria on the outside of the switchboard, we have this warning this premise label. Now this is a Victorian only requirement and is not required in any other state, and it needs to be placed on the outside of the switchboard to which the inverter is connected. Inside the switchboard we have our warning multiple supplies label. Now this needs to be in the switchboard to which the inverter is connected. We have our inverter location label, and we also have our main switch inverter supply and main switch grid supply labels as well. In this kit we also have our off-peak main switch and hot water main switch labels. These are for state requirements like New South Wales, that kind of thing. And the last label we have in this kit is the warning hazardous DC voltage label. Now this is placed on any junction box in the system. So whether you have a inspection tee or a junction box in the roof, then this needs to be placed on the front of that box. I hope you found that informative, interesting. Thanks again for watching, and tune in next time for our next episode of What Goes Where.